guys, and welcome back to the Polish American Brotherhood. I know it's been a long time since we've streamed, so expect probably some technical difficulty because it's always relearning everything every time I start back up. But today we have a very special live stream because it is my dad's birthday.
That's right. Nice to see you guys again. Okay, there was a long time that we didn't talk, and there is a lot of things to talk about. But I'm happy my son Mark joined us tonight.
Hello, everyone. Happy birthday, Father.
So, Mark, how do you say happy birthday in Polish?
I mean, what would they? I mean,
Urodziny?
see, I'm Polish already. Rusty, it's been a while. Change. Oh, no.
Well, the problem
It's
is that
stola. You say
No,
stola,
that's 100 years.
No,
But wait,
that's-
isn't that what you say?
100 years is more the literal translation. But as far as happy birthday, Szczęśliwe Rodziny, something like that.
So, Dad, in
Well,
Poland, do they
we
actually?
basically start the birthday when we joined more American way.
Because it used to be name day.
Yeah, only the name day was most important than birthday. So now we are in Poland, have a birthday, but we don't know how to call it. It's a urodziny. Urodziny, that means you born.
So the Americans confuse the Polish, then, right? Is that very difficult, though?
So now I say that even 40-50% they have a birthday in Poland. But I never heard when I was in Poland, which I lived 20 years, I never heard about birthday.
Well, I mean, that was a long time when you were there. How about you, Mark? You were there not very recently, but more recent than Dad living there.
I mean, the name day was a weird concept to me. Because I always thought, I mean, like, what if you got more than one friend named Peter?
So what do they do? They actually celebrate them all together?
Peters get together, or, you got to choose your favorite Peter to celebrate. Well, how would you do that, Dad? Or you just have to go to multiple different ones, split it, be like, all right, you got me for 2 hours, Peter, and then I got to go see Peter. And after that, I got to go see Peter, okay?
What did you do, Dad, when they had multiple name days when you were a kid? Do you all have one party?
Well, actually, I've been too young to when I was in Poland. I left actually my hometown when I was 17 years old. My mother never paid attention. I didn't have a father. My father died when I was only 7, so actually I born without that much attention to my life, what's going to happen. And that's why I decided to move out from Poland.
Wow, that was really sad.
Well, it was sad, but my life was always hard, and I was fighting always for survival. So, but thanks God, somehow I end up in America and have a good job working for United Airlines.
Yeah,
So I was happy.
And birthdays.
and birthdays.
about my
Yeah,
birthday
don't forget about the birthdays.
We don't even celebrate Marian Day here.
No,
I don't even, they're celebrating name days in Poland, but I don't even know when is my name day. The most popular is Maria, which is female, and was on August 15. Maria came from the mother of Jesus, right? So that's what is and the second name day was very popular, Janina, which my mother had the name Janina in Polish, and also the Joseph is a very popular name day. But recently, people celebrating, because even when I have a lot of friends on Facebook, they're celebrating birthdays now.
Yeah, when I was there, we were celebrating birthdays. I mean, they still celebrate a name day.
But slowly dying out, the name day dying out already, yeah.
Oh, that's a sad tradition to lose, but I guess everybody wanted to be an individual on their birthday.
I mean, what if you give your kid a special name, but they're so special they don't get to celebrate their name day? They're going to feel a little left out. Unless you create your own, be like, what, we're going to dedicate this one to, whoever you are.
Well, we know the whole month of March is my birthday too, so even though I share it with Dad, but I'd like to celebrate my birthday.
You can have one day.
Dad can have one day. I'll have my birthday usually, 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. So I just came back from my birthday trip. So my birthday was March 5th. So
the month is almost over.
The month is almost over. So I remember like Marky said that. So I got a nice little crown for my friends, of course. And Marky said I only could wear the crown through the weekend though, because most normal people celebrate only one day for their birthday. But we all know I'm a little extra special.
I don't really know it's a good idea to remember how old are you. I mean, when you get more than 50 already, you don't want to be reminded about your age, right?
Oh well, I
Especially
put
women.
it as the
Especially
heading for
women
this
don't want
live
to be
stream.
reminded about the age.
At the end of
You
the day,
know?
it's a privilege. It's a blessing. So, you know, you have to always look at the bright side, make it this far and keep going and being strong.
Yeah, I love celebrating that I'm turned 21 every single year.
Well, one thing, I'm 77 now, and one more seven, and probably I would be lucky in Las Vegas.
Jackpot.
Yeah, jackpot. So,
So, Dad, how did you spend your birthday? Was it nice?
oh, it was great. Actually, you know, my children make that day, you know, and they put all the decoration, you know, and we talk a little about even about politics, about Trump, you know, how good president he is.
Yeah, Dad had a
Yeah.
MAGA themed birthday, so I'll be cutting the video and dropping that shortly.
Okay, so I enjoy, you know, even I try to not remember what is my age, you know, but
Well,
I enjoyed the day.
how old do you feel? That's the important part.
Well, it's different days. Now I feel better, you know. I don't know if you remember me, guys, that even a few months ago I was really down, sick and stuff like that. But today I feel much better. I getting energy. I do a lot of work in my garden, you know, living out of the a lot of herbs, you know, making sure that I putting the right thing in my body now. So.
Yeah, you go to the gym every day.
Yeah, I'm going to gym. I love to go to gym, and I refresh myself in a jacuzzi and do little bit weights and stuff like that. So try to keep, you know, strong at my age.
What's the secret to staying young, Dad?
Well, basically take care of what you're putting in your stomach. That's the most important, okay? And avoid the bad stuff to putting in your mouth. Another thing is exercise is very important. If you don't want to do exercise, at least go for a walk. And if you don't have a partner, buy yourself a dog. No, not a cat, dog. Okay, so the dog can take you for a walk every night.
Well,
And the dog gonna enjoy, and you're gonna enjoy.
Mark, you have a dog. Does he keep you young?
It keeps me something.
Or who takes who for a walk?
He makes me go, but well, we split it. He keeps me on track. I keep him on track. Right, Kodak?
That's true. When I was doggy sitting Adam's 4 dogs, that's the most steps I was always getting because I had to take them in rotation for walks.
He's a beautiful dog and very attached to human. Mikey cannot even go to the bathroom. You know that he cannot miss.
Kodak wants to get on the microphone, doesn't he?
Yeah. He just wants to say happy birthday. And
In
he's
his-
ready to go for a walk. Right, Kodak? He's like, oh, did he say the magic word?
That's Patriotic Barky over there, right? Patriotic Barky, is that his
like that.
nickname?
He goes by, you know, whatever he's in the mood for. Right, Kodak? You gonna tell us something? Oh, okay.
One thing I have to say, I'm so happy Tara came back, and maybe she's gonna start doing the live stream more often. So we're gonna be in touch with you. You are beautiful friends, you know, and I enjoy, you know, when you are joining us and we can have some conversation. Especially, you know that you are a Trump supporter and have the same thoughts. Because we care for America, and Trump doing a lot for America, you know, and we have a lot of those who are criticize him, but you know, those who criticize him, they are bad guys, you know, mostly criminals or some kind of gangsters, have illegal way here or something like that. But Trump tried to stay the country out. If you illegally here in this country, go out and try to come back legally. They have the opportunity now to bring you legally to this country. I am immigrant myself, but I can legally and obey the American law. Okay, I'm not trying to take advantage of America. Try to always work hard and dedicate something to American taxpayers and stuff like that. You know.
Well, nothing motivates me more than leaving the country. So I just got back from a trip from Honduras. So I am feeling fantastic and motivated. And so one of my personal commitments to myself and to my dad was we were going to start consistently live streaming after I got back. I mean, I wasn't gone that long. I was gone for a week. Well, I guess I've been off of media for a
So did
very
you
long
enjoy
time.
your Honduras life? Because I heard a lot of things about Honduras. I don't know if it's safe over there or
Well, I don't know if
how did you
California's
feel?
safe.
Did you feel safe over there? Did you go on the street, you know, between Hondurasian people, or what did you do?
Oh, so when I was there, I went inland to Copan Ruinas. I say Ruanas, but I've been corrected tons of times. But yeah, so I went inland, and about 4 hours, I flew into San Pedro Sula. So I had heard San Pedro Sula was unsafe, but I stayed in like the business district area, and I did opt for taking private cars to transport. Usually I'm a bus person, but I was traveling with a friend. And so we decided for safety, it was worth upping our budget to take a private transport. And so we really didn't run into any issues. Honestly, it was probably the most seamless vacation I've had. Probably because we opted for private transportation. I usually rough it out by taking a bus between places. But yeah, so we took a private transport to get from San Pedro Sula to Copan Ruinas. And the town itself is like super safe. Honestly, like from what I saw, I think it's actually a lot more organized. Granted, I was in a very sanitized area, I would say, by opting to stay in probably more elevated areas of San Pedro Sulas, but it looked a lot more organized than what I've seen. It was not what I was expecting from what we hear of like third world countries. And I've traveled a lot through third world countries, like especially through Asia, and it's like Honduras seemed very like clean, a lot more cleaner than even like Medellin. When I went to Medellin, like it was even more cleaner than Colombia. And Honduras is a level 3 travel advisory, which is risk of violent like murder, death, that kind of stuff, and
So what do you think about
mugging.
Hondurasian people? Because I had my coworker at work, and I didn't like him, you know. So, but he cannot make the opinion about Hondurasian people, you know. Are they nice people over there, or how
I
do
mean,
they?
the people that I interacted with were very nice, but okay, so there's a difference when you're traveling in a very sanitized way. So, like as a tourist versus like living more like as a local when you're taking public transport and you're interacting more at the local level. So, I would have to say, like, since we were ultra cautious, we stuck to our resort. We always say that nothing good happens after midnight. Me and my friend were in before like basically 8 o'clock most evenings, almost all evenings actually, and because we were early people, and we were focused on the sightseeing aspect. So we were up early going to see the architecture of the ruins. So there's Mayan ruins that we went to go see, which was fantastic. So Mayan ruins, the ones I had seen prior were Tikal in Guatemala, and so that this was probably like size wise to that scale, a little bit smaller in terms of height wise, but it was of course very amazing, interesting architecture. For those who are not familiar with Tikal, like it's Chichen Itza basically. So those Mayan civilizations that were in the Yucatan Peninsula that stretched down through Guatemala into Honduras. So that's what we focused on. And I think that, kind of applying the basic rule of nothing good happens after midnight, you avoid a lot of sticky situations by just not, overly partying or like drinking and staying out late and staying away from like shady areas. But going around the town, like it was very colorful, lots of cute cafes. It was more of a tourist town, and it was really close knit, like in a sense, like use tuk-tuks to get around, which are little bicycles that have carriages that, not bicycles, but motorbikes that have carriages attached to them. So that's like a main mode of transportation within Copan Ruanas. And with that, our driver was like saying hi to everybody as he passes. And I'm like, wow, this guy knows everybody. But that had a really small town feel that like everybody seemed to know everybody. So I think this was a tight knit community that caters to tourism brings in quite a bit of funding into the town. So they take care of things there. At the point that we went, I don't know if this was like low season, but we really had the place to ourselves. Lucked out with the weather. Like we were preparing for like a lot of mosquitoes. I was taking anti-malaria pills while we were there, but we barely saw any mosquitoes. So maybe the area is like very treated. But yeah, we really had no issues. We went to see there was a hot springs that were about an hour out of town. So that was one of our excursions. The most memorable part for me was seeing the macaws. Macaws were everywhere outside of our hotel. We went to this one macaw mountain park that the birds are just like literally flying all over. So they say there's like 60 or so that live or that are around the ruin area, and then another like 100 that are in the valley. And so macaws are just everywhere. And to me, that was a very unique experience of my travels, was just being surrounded by all these macaws.
So, Marky, I know you've been in Costa Rica and Colombia. They are Latinos countries. Compare Costa Rica to Colombia, which you prefer?
I would say in Costa Rica, I didn't get to interact with as many people. I mean, I had a lot of interactions with Colombians and had great experiences, and even like meeting a lot of Venezuelan people that were over there. Everyone was really good people for the most part. So no complaints. And I'm still working on my Spanish. So I look for the opportunity to talk with and engage with as much people as possible. So hopefully my Spanish will be better.
I don't speak any Spanish. I mean, a little bit, a little bit on Duolingo, but I would say a skill that I've picked up while traveling through a lot of countries that I don't speak language is charades is quite well. Like my friends, like, you're amazing at charades. And for the most part, like everything's context like driven. They would speak to me in Spanish and I respond in English, and I was pretty spot on with my responses. But when you get used to like, when you're in a restaurant, it's only so many things that it's going to, you're going to be asked. When you're being transported, it's only so many different things. And so we were stopped by the police on our way back from Copan Ruinas to Sula. It was just like a checkpoint. And so with that, like I could tell he's asking for my passport, obviously for identification. And then he's like, "Oh, Rusi." And I'm like, "No, Pulaski." And he's like, "Oh, Poluski."
We knew better than you.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask you, because for me it's too late to learn another language. Polish and English is enough for me. But today, with the artificial intelligence, I just saw it that they put the glasses on and translate exactly. Is it worth to spend the time on learning another language?
If you actually want to do something with it, I mean, if you're learning something to never do anything with it, then probably no. I mean, I learned Polish living in Poland, and here I don't have anyone I get to interact with or speak it with, so it's very minimal when I'm always surprised when I actually run into someone speaking Polish. I'm like, "Oh, Polish," and I would like to. I don't want to forget it, so I do need to practice more and keep it, because I would like to. But Spanish, for me, it's the second most spoken language in America,
And also living here in Florida, it's quite useful.
exactly. And I mean, even if I wanted to like go around, move around and whatever, I think it would be extremely useful. So I would find Spanish probably the most beneficial language to me next to learn. Yeah, 100%. I used to always have friends that wanted to teach me and I never took it so serious, but now I'm actually in a place where I'm wanting to learn. So it's a different attitude when you really don't care or when you actually are interested. So
For me, I've been studying French forever. I speak it pretty decently when I'm there, and then of course, like more as I spent more time there. But I think it trains your brain to see things differently, and also when you express yourself in a different language, you take on a different personality because you're limited by the words that you're able to use. So the more expressive that you're able to become, it it's kind of like when they say fake it till you make it, or your inside is going to align to the outside. So the way you express yourself is going to align to the way you think. So I think you do take on a different personality when you are speaking a different language, and I think that's like pretty interesting. It challenges yourself, so it keeps your brain sharp.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, let's say like I have a sister and her husband, they are deaf, okay, and they telling me all the time, I should learn the sign language, but hey, I don't have time that much for other languages, you know. So I don't know what would be important for me. I mean,
It's okay, Dad. You're still focusing on English.
yeah,
And you're doing a really good job.
well, one thing I didn't even learn good English being here 55 years, right? 57 years. I've been in America and I never speak good English, but that's okay, long as I can communicate to my children. I don't care about communicate any further.
Well, I mean, with Dad, we know him so well. It's nonverbal communications. He can just give us a look, and we know exactly what he's saying. But from a linguistic standpoint, also like the amount of words that exist in that language to describe a certain thing is also like pretty indicative to how important that concept is to the society. So like in Central and South America, with a lot of food being based on corn, there's a lot of different ways to be describing corn, from like maize, and I'm not familiar with all of the terms, but for all the different types of corn. So you can know that like, oh, if they have 5 different words to describe corn when we just use one in American, in English, then you can see how important like that is to that culture, or how exposed they are to that concept or that thing. So like in Britain, they have like tons of different ways to describe rain, from a drizzle to, you know, a shower. And that's because Britain has bad weather.
Well, one thing I want to maybe a little bit change, but there is a lot of things going on in the world, you know. I don't want to mention that what's happening in Iran. I hope the war going to be finished soon with our success, but also there is a lot of happening in my country, in Poland, and not now the president of Poland came with his wife to United States, meeting the President of United States and First Lady of Poland, meeting Melania. Also, she's very welcome. She's beautiful. You know, President Trump has a beautiful wife, but Polish president has also beautiful wife. You know, so that's why I want to mention to you, because not everybody knows how beautiful Polish first uh, lady in Poland looks like. You know, so.
I gotta look her up. I'm not familiar with what she looks like, but if she's as beautiful as Melania, that's wonderful.
She's beautiful, yeah. And she's dedicated to help her husband, President Nawrocki. President Trump called him Nawroki. He's a Nawrocki. Okay, we don't have a key, we have ski or ski.
Yeah, the elections.
Ski.
The elections for Poland were what, a year ago? Last May,
For
right?
the president, yeah. But now we have a good president in Poland, but we have a bad prime minister, which try to challenge the good Polish president, and hopefully we can kick that prime minister of Poland soon out from even from Poland, because he's a criminal.
What's he done? Why is he on your bad side, Dad?
Well, the first thing, he messing up with the justice system in Poland, which is no, okay. He has a lot of, seems like a lot of power, and he's not doing anything for Poland. He's doing more for the German than from Poland, and that's why he's bad. I mean, being in a government, can you imagine if Trump would be better for another country than for America? I wouldn't like that, you know.
America first.
America first, and make Poland great again too. Don't forget that. You know.
Now, Poland is for Europe probably America's greatest supporter, right?
Poland is the greatest friend to United States. It's been all the time like that. I don't know if you guys remember Kościuszko or Pułaski, which fighting for the American freedom. And we have a lot of people in America. Polish people, when they came here, they work hard for America. You know, they dedicated a lot. You know, and all Polish people who live here, they love America. They don't come doing like some people doing terrorists or crimes in America, you know, all those gangster cartels and stuff like that. We do good work for America, and we have a lot of smart people too, you know.
Oh, speaking of our president, let me pull up some reels that Mark sent me earlier to see what's he up to.
Well,
Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you know, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone. As the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum, racked up pretty good. And everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier are gone. But we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out. And the present, the gift they made to us was very significant. And they said they were going to do it, and it happened. And they're the only ones that could have done it. Jennifer?
Was it related to the Strait of Hormuz and the flow of?
Yeah, it was related to the flow and to the Strait, yeah. Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us
So
a
you think it's
present.
going to be over soon? And there's a deal?
Say again, Mark?
Do you think it's going to be over soon and there's a deal?
I believe so because you know, America is so powerful, you know, that country like Iran, I think the military is already done with more than 90%. The military is diminished. So, but one thing I want to mention about President Trump, not everybody maybe know that he's not getting paid for his job, what he's doing, and he work like a dog, you know. So we cannot, never we're going to have a president like that, you know. I've been here 55 years, and first time I love American president, which is Donald Trump, because he's dedicated to his country and he doing the most what a president can do for America.
I just looked over to Kodak when you said he worked as hard as a dog, and Kodak had a big smile on his face, like finally getting the recognition I deserve.
Working hard, huh?
No, I hear you, Dad. I mean, like, I don't know, like with everything that's going on, I do feel that even amongst my Trump supporter friends, we're kind of not pulling back, but kind of at least not as vocal in supporting. What do you think, Mark?
Yes, I'm right there.
You were telling me even before we started the stream that like, and you guys know that Mark's more on the neutral side. Dad's more like Trump all the way, and then Mark's more, I don't want to say level, but more neutral. So what are your thoughts on
Well, I'm more
things?
neutral. I definitely voted for Trump 3 times. That's no secret. So, but equally, I mean, it's a weird situation. You know, I don't almost feel like this is our war, and I definitely don't want any of our troops to get twisted into something that I don't think that they should per se be in. But equally, I don't know everything that's going on that's in this or all the details. But you know, I know another thing is that they mentioned that, you know, Iran said that they couldn't have missiles that went so far, but they were already proving that they have missiles that could kind of go further than they had said they could before, right? Like able to even get over to Europe and whatever and stuff like that.
I mean, they were doing drone strikes, right? That hit the Dubai airport.
I don't want to even say that's fully accurate because I don't know if there was like a misfire or something that happened for that one. If that was an accident, I don't even think I don't know the what really happened with that one.
I know that I was talking to one of the aunties, and so she had a trip planned to go to India and Nepal, but it was going through the Dubai airport, so she ended up canceling her travel plans. Do you think that what's going on in the Middle East is going to affect like worldwide travel quite a bit?
Yeah,
Like
I
people's
would say
willingness to
everyone
go?
should just kind of be careful. I mean, you never know when people want to act crazy or I mean, what happened? We even had that one shooter walking around with property of Allah or whatever, right? So I mean, you don't ever know. People, if they want to get crazy, they'll get crazy. And right now is a time where people are probably going to start getting crazy, I would assume.
I'm terrible. I was looking at flights to see if the flights kind of dipped down. And actually, you know what? So I have, since I've been off social media, I haven't really been following what's been going on in the world, kind of detoxing, because like it does get toxic, guys. So especially with when Dad and I were really into it, it's all over our worlds and everything. So I took a little break from that. It's good to be level set and not just follow everything that's going online and, you know, touch grass every now and then. So with that, I wasn't, when I had booked my flight for Honduras, I'm like, oh, it's a cheap flight. And I didn't realize that we actually bombed Iran the day before. So I'm like, oh, there's a cheap flight booked. So yeah, so I do think that, you know, like the airplanes are going to go according to the news and dip and everything. So I am monitoring for cheap flights every now and then. I mean, one time I flew from Philippines over to Kota Kinabalu, and the cousins were like, "Where's Kota Kinabalu? How did you pick that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a cheap flight." And I'm like, Tara, that's how you end up in a war zone. But you know, I like to explore a little bit.
Well, one thing what I want to mention about, because a lot of people are confused what's going in Iran. To make a real judgment, we have to know exactly what's going on over there, because most of the stuff is a secret. So public are not properly informed what's going on over there, and that's why we had to I a little bit interesting, but I don't know everything, and I think just rely on President Trump, who always is right. Whatever he's doing, he's right. He always doing the right thing. That's why I rely on his opinion and his judgment. What he's doing, that will be right. And you know, the sometimes countries like Iran, they saying they're sponsoring terrorism, or you know, and President Trump says that. That's I believe President Trump that he knows what he's doing, and we see the eventually what's going to happen. I hope it finished soon, because I feel sorry for Iranian people, you know, for the civilian. But
Yeah, it's
there
always the
is
civilians that get caught, and they're always the victims when governments go like this.
100%.
all the time the civilians are victims of the politicians' war. Same thing like in Ukraine. Okay, Putin wants Ukraine, and Ukrainian want a freedom from Russia. They've been most of the time they've been slave for the Russians, and they says no more. We're gonna fight, and it seems like they're winning now. So we see what's going to happen. I mean, sometimes when you want a peace, you have to go to the war. I don't know if you remember a book which was wrote by Tolstoy, a Russian, War and Peace. Okay, Napoleon went to Russia, make a war on it, and after that he signed the peace, and it was peaceful time.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I'm from the school of thought that true peace can't be truly like won through war, because like it's a forced peace. So if if it's a forced peace, is it truly going to last?
Well, you know, you can even find out that even in family you cannot find a common language to talk, solve the solution. Okay, and that's what's happening when there is a different culture, different minds involved. And President Trump gave hand to Iranian, talk to us. We can solve this problem. You cannot have a nuclear, okay? Because another country would have to have a nuclear, and then what will happen if everybody gonna have nuclear? You heard what happened in Pakistan, in India. Both of them are nuclear, and they want to go to war. Thanks to President Trump, he says no war, and they listen to President Trump. Okay, but Iranian they didn't listen. All what President Trump says, you cannot have a nuclear, and they didn't listen. So that's what happened. They have to pay the price now.
It's kind of like Trump's like Daddy Trump telling siblings to cut it out. But yeah, it's always neighbors that are fighting against neighbors. The same way, like when siblings are fighting and everything. I know there's always like it's natural to have conflict with your siblings, but as soon as somebody would pick on one of my brothers, oh, like I might be fighting with my brother, but you cannot fight with my brother. Then there's going to be a problem. So
Well, statistically, it's always that the neighbors are the bad people, you know. Whichever you look, which side you look, you have a problem always with the neighbor. You don't have a problem with the next neighbors. You have a problem with the neighbor, which is right, joining your property. That's, I would say, 60-70%. Your neighbor is your enemy.
yeah. I mean, like, at least how we manage things in our household when we have differing opinions or, different views or somebody slights somebody, usually I get annoyed at my older brother quite often. Mark comes in and kind of solves things. So at least I got Marky on my side. But sometimes he's like, I'm going to stop listening to her if she keeps talking too much. But so how we solve things amongst like me and my brothers, there isn't a concept of like, okay, well, I can't stop talking to you or, like, or the concept of even divorce. You don't divorce within the family, and you don't abolish the relationship between brothers and sisters and everything. So me and my older brother started having like sibling dates. Basically, we'd go out to dinner, and then whenever we have something important to discuss between us that's a conflict, we set it to a fun outing. So that way, it's like de-stressing, but forces us to bond and then that opens up to having a civil conversation, because when things are heated, you're just not going to be effective. So to de-escalate the situation, and I'm not saying this is how like what happens in the real world, but at least within our own nuclear families, it's problem solving that you can have is like know that there isn't a exit door, and you're forced to work together, so you have no option but to find a solution.
Yeah, the most important in a relationship it is compromise. If both sides knows how to compromise, there is no problem, no conflict. But if even one side won't compromise, there will be always conflict, and that's the problem is.
Well, one thing that's unfortunate, most of these problems are inherited problems. It's never like babies
True.
born saying that's the bad guy. They go and say, hey, let's play. You know what I mean? But how are people brought up? How are people taught and passed on, right?
Your grandparents' chicken killed our family's chicken, so therefore 4 generations now they're killing brothers instead. So it's probably started over a chicken or a goat or
It
a
would
cow.
be good if the younger generation
Yeah.
aims for a better path. We don't have to keep
One thing, when
fighting.
I came to
wars,
America,
right?
I thought all the people are smart. There is no stupid people. But then I realized that stupid people every country have. They have smart people and stupid people. Every country is just like God create that way. So
I remember when I was
Yes.
younger, I used to think that once you get older, you're smarter. No, people don't grow up always, Even when I was like 20, I was seeing like people who are adults, like fully grown adults, should be mature by age 40, 50, 60. Still very childlike behavior. But
Yeah, Mark and I were actually having this discussion about like how you have some friends that are grandfathered in, and then as you get older, like you become more picky about the people that you have in your life, or if you choose to even cut out the friends that were grandfathered in, as we develop to who we are, our values are different, and you become the people that you surround yourself with. So your greatest asset to who you want to be is going to be with the people you surround yourself with. Of course, people can apply that to families. Our family is pretty traditional, so we can't cut out siblings and everything, despite growing up with different attitudes and outlooks and stuff. But I would say I'd probably become more pickier with the people I surround myself with as well. And I know you have as well, Mark.
oh yeah, I don't really fuck with people. I just kind of keep to myself. If you're a good person, then cool. I just try to avoid any problems and drama. There's no need for all that, and I have my own goals that I like to work towards. So hopefully I surround people that are like-minded, same kind of goals and whatever, and we just kind of root for each other and just keep trying to get better.
Yeah, I think that's the secret to like staying young is protecting your peace.
Right, to stay young, have to stay out of stress. And if you're surrounding area give you stress, change the area. That's the best idea. You cannot fight everybody.
I agree.
The most important is in family, and if there is a problem, the best idea is keep your mouth shut and don't say anything. That's really elixir for
That's
your life.
probably if you're the guy. I mean, I think as females, we sometimes can't control our mouths a little bit. So, because we are more expressive, I would say men are the same level of emotional ness, and I'm not trying to take that away from guys either. But it's more freeing for being a woman, being able to express yourself. That just being able to talk and express ourselves probably keeps our stress level low, even if it increases the guy's level of stress.
One thing I learned because I had a stepfather that in my mind, he was a little bit crazy, okay, and he was very stubborn in his idea, whatever he thought, he was thinking that he's right, and to keep peace in, even I was young, I keep my mouth shut, and that's kind of I survived, with him for 7 years. After 7 years, I said, enough is enough. I leaving the hometown, going to America.
Yeah, but that was also a very different situation. His dad grew up in, of course, in communist Poland in poverty, and unfortunately with an abusive stepfather. Because at that time, a woman has to remarry basically immediately after her spouse dies in order to secure the survival of the family. So that's at least a freedom that we don't really have. We have more of a choice with that now, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, even like in my house, we get a pension after my father. My stepfather was working, my mother was working, and end of the month always was short of the money, no food. Even I sometimes starve. I had to go and in summertime was no problem because there was a lot of fruits on the trees, so I could eat that, but it was short. It was not a really good life, believe me, but not everybody appreciate America, believe me. If you only work hard, you can have a good life. I came poor to America and I work hard and my children have a better life now, so I'm proud of it.
We don't have a shortage of food here. We have a lot of obese people around here.
They actually changed the definition of obesity. Before it was based on the BMI, but with the change in the definition of obesity, which is more comprehensive, and I agree with it, but America's level jumped from being 40% obese to 70% obese now. We're one of the most obese countries.
I believe it.
Obesity usually comes from eating junk food and not working enough physically. You're not active. That's what it comes, that your stomach not working properly and turns to the fat. And
Yeah, but
that's
also in
the
America,
problem.
our food is way more processed than you go to another country. I mean, even for example, the Fruit Loops here versus in Canada.
Yeah,
Same
the
exact
colors,
food,
the
food
colors
coloring, but they
are
give us
banned.
straight poison to eat. No, it's okay because it don't kill you. You know what I mean? It's gonna kill you slowly, but make you fat and all that. But
They pump the food here with a lot of preservatives to increase its livelihood or livelihood, the shelf life. Yeah,
did you hear that
with the shelf life.
how they flipped the food pyramid recently?
Oh, that was awesome.
Because
That was awesome.
that hasn't been a secret for a long time. It took, you could just tell that was all incorrect. Because as soon as the original food pyramid came out, the 80s, 90s? Well, when was it?
I'm not
Around
exactly sure, but
But that's around the same time where obesity really started getting big, huh?
and I would say in my fitness journey now versus in my 20s when I was competing, how I train and eat now is drastically different from before. Before, I was more concerned about keeping to 1,200 to 1,400 calories, more calorie counting in order to stay slim. And now I eat so much, and I'm not gaining because I'm very active as well, but the fact that I can even eat the sheer amount I can and not have swings and everything. But most of the food that I eat is whole foods, other than the pizza that I was eating last night. Thanks, Mark.
Every now and then. I'm still American.
Well, I think you cannot have excuse for smart people. You have the knowledge now, access to the knowledge on a computer, how to stay healthy and stuff like that. When I was growing, I didn't know anything about it. But the thing it is that when I was in Poland, everything was kind of fresh. Everything delivered at the day. And that's why I was. The farmers didn't have enough money to buy the pesticides or something like that, so they have to do everything naturally without. And it was healthy food. I can. There was not enough food, but it was healthy. Yeah, we didn't have a refrigerator. We had to eat whatever it was at the day.
Yeah, I think that's one of the differences too between like American lifestyle and European lifestyle is like there the fridges are very small and you don't put everything into the fridge. Like your fruits and your vegetables are kept out of the fridge, your eggs are not refrigerated. Like here we're all about like the shelf life of how long our food is going to last. Hence all the preservatives that are put in. Like and also daily shopping is normal in Europe. Like to stop by the grocery store. I mean, here dad even goes to like 3 different grocery stores to whichever has like the best product or the best food for it. So like hitting up 3 different grocery stores is
I
just
get the
very
best meat one store, best bread in one store.
yeah,
After
to balance not only like the budget of grocery shopping, but also like what's good from the different locations. So that's something that we're not exactly like taught here. So we have a lot of things that have a lot of preservatives in it, and so that's one of the differences, as well as just walking, because European cities are so like compact that you basically walk everywhere. So the amount of steps that you're getting, like I struggle in the US to be getting 10,000 steps unless I'm actively like thinking about it or going out for a walk with like Kodak. Now I'm into running. So I can get my steps there, but we drive everywhere. Like in Europe, you walk everywhere.
Yeah, well, talking about things what happening here, but like I mentioned before, that there is a lot of things happening. We concentrate on Iran now, but there is a lot of stuff going in Cuba. Also, they don't mention that much now about Greenland. I hope we're gonna get the Greenland. I think that everything is already set up. So we see. Hopefully, we're never gonna get a problem with China. Okay, because Trump is a smart politics, and China tried to avoid also confrontation with America. You can see that, like in Panama, they kicked the Chinese out of Panama, and they kicked them out from Venezuela.
Wait,
Also now
what do you
with
mean that they
Cuba.
kicked them out like the tourists?
No,
The
basically
products?
the Chinese try to invest a lot of money in Venezuela, and now because of the oil, you know that Venezuela is second largest with the oil amount, and Chinese try to get to Cuba, try to get to Venezuela, but Trump says this is America here, and we don't want a Chinese around. He even tried to do that. Chinese won't be allowed to buy land in America, which I think this is the right idea.
Yeah, that I would definitely agree with that because that's something I witnessed when I was in Cambodia. I was in the south in a town called Sihanoukville. And so something that I had witnessed when I was there is they have a lot of Chinese investors that were buying up the buildings and the land. So they buy up the buildings, destroy the building, and then buy up the land and erect like casinos. And so this displaced the locals. Like the locals can't afford to be buying the land so often that they build their businesses on land that they don't own. So they're only leasing them and renting so they can be kicked out at any moment's notice. So this one business that I was at, it was a fitness retreat type place. Like they had to stop operations like while I was there because they suddenly lost their rental agreement. And though that they had been operating their business and living there for like 20 plus years, like overnight, like they shut down, had to kick out all the guests and stuff. And so what I was seeing in Chinookville was the Chinese were buying up the land that locals cannot afford to buy and then erecting casinos, but they would bring their own Chinese nationals to then work at the casinos. So you're taking away the businesses from the locals. You're not hiring the locals. And so and you're bringing in Chinese nationals to be working at the casinos. So the locals therefore don't even have any jobs, and so they don't have work. They are not going to have money, and it completely displaces society. And then that's something I had heard also, like when the Chinese come they were trying to buy up a lot of land in some African countries. So when they build the roads and infrastructure, for instance, for land that they own, they're only thinking from a temporary standpoint. So like they're not even investing into the correct infrastructure that's there. So these roads, by the time if they leave, are going to be in disrepair. And so basically when the Chinese come in and invest, or if they give a loan, like I don't know the exact like ways they structure their loan, but it puts the government in debt to the Chinese, so therefore that they own. So it's a way that the Chinese are infiltrating into these countries to then basically own the countries. So any country that sells its land to a foreign investor, they're letting go of their power. So I understand that like sometimes governments are going to need the money and everything. Like how else are you going to grow without having some foreign investment? But you got to keep your market share, because at the point you let more of it go, you don't own your country is not your country anymore. And that's something that I saw in Cambodia and I had heard about going on in Africa. So it's a wise move that these countries are not allowing for Chinese investors to come in and basically own their country.
Yeah. Well, today you don't have to go to basically to the war. You can just buy the country. You make the first investment, and then you tell the politician what to do. I don't know if you heard about. There was kind of the news that 60 of the senators was getting money from Maduro.
Maduro. I
What do
heard.
you
I
know
don't know how
about that?
accurate that is, but I think he's supposed to testify about it, right? So we'll see. I heard it. I don't know.
You see, if we have a politician which are crooks, then it's a problem, okay? And I compare America to China. America is this economically strongest country in the world, but look at how fast the economy in China is growing. Don't forget, China has 1.5 billion people, and they all patriots. In America, we don't have that many patriots. So half of the people, they want America be first, okay? That's why they support Trump to make America great again. But in China, all the 1.5 billion people, they are patriots, and that's why the China getting stronger. Hopefully, President Trump can do that. We're still going to keep going as a number one country economically. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pull up another reel that Mark had shared with me. All right, what we got here? Oh, yeah, let's discuss this. On Monday, so I flew back on Monday. Yesterday, ICE will be going to airports to help our wonderful TSA agents. On Monday, ICE will be going to airports to help the wonderful TSA agents who have stayed on the job despite the fact that the radical left Democrats, who are only focused on protecting hardline criminals who have entered our country illegally, are endangering the USA by holding back the money that was long ago agreed to with signed and sealed contracts and all. But watch, no matter how great a job ICE does, the lunatics leading the incompetent Dems will be highly critical of their work. They will do a fantastic job. The great Tom Homan is in charge. President Donald J. Trump.
So why is TSA still not getting paid right now?
So my understanding, and definitely guys correct me if I'm wrong, would be that, well, per Trump's post, that there was probably funding that was released or negotiated in their contracts, but now they're probably holding hostage, releasing the funds somehow in the government. So I had heard that like 50% of the people aren't being paid. So you still have TSA agents who are showing up probably unpaid. I mean, my experience traveling this past week, I saw no ICE agents when I flew in on Monday. Of course, every airport's going to be different. It was the quickest. Usually MCO is also super busy. When I left last Monday, I had 5 minutes through security, which for spring break, I was shocked because I almost missed the flight. Like, mom and I almost missed a flight like a couple of years ago when we were flying at this time because the TSA line was like snaking around and it was crazy. I ran ahead of mom, went to the gate, and then the lady's like, oh, are you traveling by yourself? And I'm like, no, I have my mom with me. She's coming down. And she goes, well, you're traveling by yourself. And I was like, Mom, hurry up. And so mom's like running with her suit, with her backpack. I made her wear a backpack to get there. But I didn't experience that this travel season with spring break. It took 5 minutes to get through TSA last week, and then coming back through border security. It was just like a scan on the face. I didn't even whip out the passport. And yeah, I was through in like 2 seconds and didn't see any ICE agents. So I would expect probably for Florida that we would have had ICE agents, but that's not what I witnessed when I came through.
Well, I think the Democrats still making a lot of problems, to mess around with the politician. We don't know exactly what's in their mind, but there is a lot of crook politician because of the money. That's why they protecting the cartels, and like Maduro says, this he pays 60 senators here to make the drugs flow to America. How much is true? I don't know. That was on the news. Okay, so we see what's going to happen, but guys, trust Mr. Trump. He's doing good job, and he's for America. So we have to just make sure that he cannot run for the next cadency, but
He could be vice president.
we have either J.D. Vance would be the best candidates for the next presidency, or even Marco Rubio. He's doing a good job, right? That's
Well,
He's pretty popular, actually.
he's
But
popular.
Yeah, he's pretty
people
popular.
going by popularity, So we see. But I want to see J.D. Vance as the next president.
what do you feel that I know you said you had some friends that you feel aren't as supportive at Trump at this moment. What do you think it is about that's Trump doing that have a lot of his supporters even starting to question him a little bit?
I mean, with the engagement with Iran was one thing, and then
Epstein files.
Epstein files.
That's a huge one, I would
Yeah,
say.
Epstein files. That's got me a little shaky. So, like, I'm a huge supporter of President Trump, but if the truth comes out for something that I didn't know, like, I'm open-minded, so my opinion will change based on the information, just the way science works. Like, if new information is presented, then the science changes. So, like, I'm not very one track. So if I'm presented with new information, my opinion can change.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of allegations and whatever, so who knows what's true, what's not, what's made up. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. But I think definitely Epstein files and the war in Iran is something that has a lot of people pulling back from him. I would say even a little bit of ICE, but not so much. I would say it was mostly those two issues. I think that got people unsure about Trump.
Yeah, I think with the ICE thing, like Trump ran on deportation of illegals from the country, so that is something that he's delivering on. So the more he's been standing his ground and pushing through with that, like that's what we voted for. So I don't think it's so much like the ICE thing, but Epstein files, of course, like that can be a game changer. And Iran, like he also ran as the president who didn't start any wars. So we'll see
This
about
one's
that.
kind of a
This
big one,
one's
though.
kinda
I
big,
mean, like,
yeah.
those other ones were like micro, and then there's like no wars, and then boom, So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll see about that.
I mean, I always said that like my dream is to be a wartime reporter. So I might have my dream come true.
Fuck that. No, I don't know.
And I don't mean to be so callous. So
No, I know what you mean, but at the end of the day, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. Didn't that one guy resign? What was his position and his name? He resigned over the Iran thing. You know who I'm talking about? I think I sent you a reel on it. I don't know if you're able to.
Joe Kent resigns over war. Oh, okay. Let me pull this one up.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Joe Kent. Oh, I like him.
yeah, he seemed like a solid dude.
Yeah. U.S. Counterterrorism Director Joe Kent resigns over war. Iran posed no imminent threat.
And now he's under investigation because they're saying he leaked information, apparently. So we're going to see how that unfolds.
Yeah,
Even
I
he
liked
was
him.
giving information to Iran?
I don't know what's going on. I just know he's under investigation now after he's already stepped down or whatever. But they're saying something about him leaking information that he wasn't supposed to. I don't know and what that means, But I heard he's under investigation. So we're going to see what happens with that.
Yeah, we'll see how that story unfolds. But I do like Joe Kent, so I
Yeah, I
didn't
do
realize
too.
that this was
Yeah.
the one that you were talking about.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of politician and investigation, but we cannot handle everything.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
but this one stood out a little to me, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. All
I
right,
mean,
guys.
Tim Walsh is definitely worth investigating. Let's investigate that guy. And then, what's his name? Gavin Newsome? Or Newsome, whatever. Newsome.
No. You said it right the first time. You said it right the first time.
So, I don't know. Maybe on the next episode, we can get some more information for you guys. I know Nick Shirley just did another one in California now. I know
Oh,
his,
I love Nick
so
Shirley.
I'll have to check that one out. Because, yeah, he's definitely my favorite reporter. And I know he won that independent, what is it? Journalist?
Yeah, he won the Independent Journalist Award.
I stumbled on Nick Shirley a few months ago, and I really, really, really liked his approach with most of his videos. He just seems like very level, respectful for everyone, even if you have a different opinion than him. So he wasn't just someone who I've seen going around looking for reactions and gotcha moments and whatever. So a lot of respect to Nick Shirley.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, that brings us up to an hour, and let's have some closing remarks. Again, Dad, happy birthday to 100 more years. Still a lot. So it's not to 100, it's to 100 more.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, my children, Mark and Tara, for making my day very beautiful today. And thank you, my friends, also that you join me today, and we can speak out what is in my mind and yours mind and my children's mind. And you don't have to agree with me with everything, but you are allowed to
Join us and
say-
disagree. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Let us know what you think.
we gotta
Give
get the
me
other
your
brother on.
opinion, I give you my opinion, and intelligently we have to understand that America is first and make America great again. Support Trump.
All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us on the Polish American Brotherhood. I'm going to shamelessly plug it in to like, share, subscribe. Look forward to more live streams with me and Dad, and hopefully more with my brother joining Mark. And maybe one day we'll get my liberal brother on the show as well. Philip might be able to join us so we can have
That'll be a good episode.
That will be, yeah. I'm looking forward to that episode. We won't even have to prepare anything ahead of time if he's going to be on the show. All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us on the Polish American Brotherhood.